Wanting to be perfect on your spiritual path is exactly what keeps you stuck. So what do most people do? They try harder to fix themselves, to become better, more patient, more holy, more enlightened. But the thing is that this just adds more struggle. In this video, I'll show you how to stop chasing who you think you should be and start waking up to who you really are right now. But before I do that, a quick intro. I'm Christian, your friend of the way. I've been practicing Zen meditation, energy healing, and all sorts of other different spiritual practices for many years now, and now I just want to inspire your spiritual journey. Do you meditate enough, or are you patient and compassionate 24/7 in each and every situation? How does it feel to be the living embodiment of truth and love? If you just looked at yourself, at your internal reaction to these questions, what just happened? I guess for most of you, you weren't able to answer them in a way that would satisfy you. Do you meditate enough? Probably not, unless you are a monk living in a monastery. But even then, you might criticize yourself for not being able to stay present all the time. Are you as patient and compassionate with others as possible? Unless you're a true sage, the answer is probably no as well. You might get angry or become impatient with others more often than you would like to. And how does it feel to be the living embodiment of love and truth? Here the answer might be, what? Are you talking to me? Now you might feel guilty because you don't meditate enough, because you fail with other human beings, and you can't even claim that you're an embodiment of absolute truth. And this is a problem. When we are on a spiritual path, we read about the holy masters, the enlightened beings, and how they have developed qualities that make us look like inferior beings. We think we need to change. We need to develop into a holy person before we can finally become awakened. Therefore, we think we need our lives to go perfectly. We have a strict schedule. We wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning. We sit in meditation at least 6 hours every day. We are always kind to everybody, even if they do something not so nice, and we almost float above the ground because we are so holy. I mean, this would sound really nice, except that almost nobody would claim that this is the case for them. So what do we do instead? We still have this ambition, but we fail and we feel guilty. We think we need to change everything about ourselves in order to become worthy of awakening or enlightenment. And we even put in the work. We try our best. Maybe it goes well for a while. We feel as if we're doing something right, that we're on a good path, but then for whatever reason, we fail. We fall back into our old behavior. We feel guilty, maybe even ashamed, and we might even start disregarding spirituality because we just can't meet the ideals we have set out for ourselves or we believe are necessary for awakening. We may even start doing the opposite and just justify our, let's say, unskillful tendencies. We might say, I'm just awareness, I don't care about the world, or something like that. But secretly we feel that something is still off. If we haven't even realized that we are pure awareness, then we are deluded anyway if we think that way. It's also only just thinking. So what's the solution to this dilemma? If you are looking at yourself with all your flaws and imperfections, where are you really looking? You might be looking at your human body, your feelings, your thoughts, your behavior, your actions. But are you really only this human body? Only these feelings, these thoughts, or these actions? In spirituality, we often hear that you're not your thoughts, not your body, and so on. And this sounds really wonderful, even freeing. But do we truly believe it? If everything goes well, we have no problem saying we are beyond our human form. However, if we do something wrong, we immediately look at ourselves and believe it's entirely our fault. Suddenly, it becomes very personal. You see, the real issue is that even though we are on a spiritual path, we still identify with this limited human form, and we judge it based on what we think is right or wrong. But true spirituality is about letting go of our limitations or our perceived sense of identity. Because everything we identify with is not our true nature. Our true nature is formless. It has no beginning. It has no end. We can't say it exists or that it doesn't exist. To say that something exists or doesn't exist, or to say that something is only good or only bad, belongs to the dualistic realm, which is the relative aspect of life. Our identities, how we like to think about ourselves, as well as our human form, all belong to the relative. So what is the conclusion? No matter how we think about ourselves, it's always from a relative dualistic perspective. If you think well of yourself, eventually you will also think poorly of yourself. And there is no exception to that. Any affirmation we make about ourselves or anything else will also imply its opposite. And if you try to improve, if you try to fix yourself, if you think you have to become something, all of this belongs to the relative realm. Spirituality is about waking up to your true self, the unchanging self, the unborn, the supreme being, the absolute nature of reality. That's why it's called awakening. It's not called development or progression. It's about waking up to who you really are. In Korean Zen Buddhism, there is a concept called checking mind. It describes our habit, the tendency to look at something and to judge it. For example, when you sit in meditation and you think your meditation is going well or isn't going well, this means you are checking your meditation practice. Or when you go through life and you think you're a bad person or a good person, this also means engaging in checking mind. It basically means attaching to your judgment, attaching to good or bad. And Korean Zen master Sung San, he always told his students not to check, not to hold any thoughts or judgments, and not to attach to anything. Just become aware whenever this checking mind appears. I want to have a good meditation session. Or I want to be a good person. Your true nature is already complete. It's already beyond good, beyond bad, beyond any description. You just need to wake up to that from moment to moment. Because when you become aware of a thought that judges you or suggests that you need to do something or become someone in order to awaken, just notice it. Don't attach to it. don't hold it. You are already beyond this thought. You don't have to do anything to let it go. You just don't hold onto it. So how can we possibly become something that we already are? You see, it's not about becoming something, but really about letting go of all the false identities we have, not attaching to anything that comes to our mind, and to awaken to our true nature. And how do you do that? How do you awaken to your true nature? I think one of the most direct ways is self-inquiry. Just ask yourself, whenever a thought appears, who is looking at this thought? Whenever a sound appears, who is listening to this sound? And when a judgment appears, who is looking at that judgment? You can basically do this anytime and any place. Whenever you do something, just ask yourself, who is doing that? Because this way your thoughts, your judgments, your feelings, everything will basically come to an end and you will wake up to your true self. You will meet yourself truly as you are, because there is nothing you have to do to become who you already are. Just let go of the false notions and ideas you have about yourself, and there you are, already perfect, already the absolute. Alright, I hope this was helpful. Feel free to share your experience on what's the hardest part for you about letting go of your false identities and waking up to your true nature. If you want more guidance on your path, I've got an online course that goes deeper into it as well. The link is in the description. You can also find the link to my free newsletter there. I wish you all the best. Your friend of the way. Bye.